Jugaad. As Indians, most of us are familiar with this concept. We've all used it at some point or the other, in some form or the other. It's a widespread concept used in India. Farmers use it using plastic bottles for drip irrigation. Sometimes we use it to repair our jeans or denims with patchwork and aesthetic embroidery. Sometimes we've also used our phones in a glass to amplify the volume when we didn't have proper speakers at a party. All of these are examples of low resource intensive sustainable innovations. There are also high resource intensive sustainable innovations like a solar energy farm or a car running on water as fuel. What do all of these innovations have in common? All these innovations use resources that minimize the ill effect on the planet's ecosystems. Today, I want to talk to you about one such still underutilized resource, the resource of waste. How much waste do you think Gurgaon produces? We are producing about 4.5 kgs of waste per person per day. This is a really, really large amount, and it's causing a big problem since most of this waste is landfilled. Landfills themselves are a huge concern because they cause air and water pollution. They cause all this leaching into the ground, which makes this land useless. And this land could have been used, should have been used for creating economic centers, learning centers, playgrounds, or forests. So what can we do about it? I want to tell you a story about an artist, a very creative woman who was also slightly bored. And she took it on herself to use a single type of waste, the common plastic bag, and create something of beauty with it. She was fascinated by the colors that plastic bags came in. And she tried some home jugaads to see something that she could build out of these plastic bags. She layered them, cut them into different shapes and sizes, used different colors, different densities, put them all on a tray, and tried baking it in an oven. Then she tried ironing it with a home iron. Some of these experiments were successful, some were not. But her husband, amused by this whole charade that was going on at home, was fascinated, and he also foresaw the business opportunity and the impact opportunity that such an innovation would present if it was successful. He built a machine that could fuse these different layers of plastic bags in the watercolor painting kind of way that his wife had envisioned. And together, after 2 years of experiments, of a lot of R&D, failed experiments, they were able to produce a new material and a new process to create upcycled fabric from this plastic waste. And from this fabric were created these kind of fashion accessories. All these prints and colors that you see here, these are all colors of the original plastic bags. And this is how their journey began. They were empowered by this sustainable innovation, and they chose to empower others with it. When we talk about a sustainable innovation, there are 3 facets to an innovation that we must always oversee to really see if an innovation is sustainable or not. These are that it should be environmentally sustainable, it should be socially inclusive, and it should be economically viable. These 3 components together make the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. So taking our example of the plastic innovation, let's determine if it is a sustainable innovation or not. This innovation is environmentally sustainable because it feeds into creating what we call a circular economy. A circular economy is when the resources that we utilize are kept in a loop. Nothing should be sent to the landfill site. So when we talk about this example of the single-use plastic bags, which would have been trashed after a single use or a few uses, has now been converted to a fabric and then to a product. And in this way, we are able to extend its life cycle, and nothing is going to the landfill site for at least a few years. When we recycle materials, another advantage is that the emissions that we produce in recycling are way lesser than what would have been produced if a virgin new material was created. And this way, we're also able to benefit in our war against climate change. Coming to the social inclusivity part, who are the people associated with this resource? The waste workers or the rag pickers? Most of us have seen rag pickers around our houses, around our streets, but have we ever stopped to wonder who these people are, where do they come from, and what do they do with the waste that they take from us? The waste workers are one of the most exploited sections of Indian society. They come with the tags of the untouchables or the achut. And while the caste system has been abolished, it's still prevalent in different forms in different parts of our society. And these waste workers not only deserve credit, but they also deserve to be recognized for their efforts and keeping our cities afloat in troubled times like COVID. When we create sustainable innovations, it is imperative that we look and we try and gain insights from the workers who really have the practical experience of working with this resource. The waste workers have a lot of knowledge on how waste works. And they can tell better than most experts by the touch and feel of waste that what kind of material or plastic would be recyclable and what is not. And this is an insight that it was extremely useful to us to build an efficient recycling system. The big question comes that can we use this sustainable innovation to empower these people, this community with it? And the answer is yes. Coupled with the right business skills of marketing, sales, finance, basic accounting, and IT, we are able to empower them with this innovation to create their own independent micro-enterprises. Coming to the third tenet of a sustainable innovation is the economic viability. How important is the economics of running a sustainable innovation? It is extremely important because if our innovation does not keep itself financially afloat or if we're not profitable, the whole impact that we are trying to create with the social impact and the environmental impact, we're not going to be able to sustain it over a long period of time. And that is why it's important that we create a revenue model, a sales model that will keep it afloat. And for that, we have to identify the right use case for that innovation. So please follow this exercise with me. When we talk about this innovation, is there a need really for a recycled plastic sheet? I would say not exactly, not in its current form. What would we do with a recycled plastic sheet? But we need to understand what are the different use cases that we could create from this recycled plastic sheet? Are there any other products that would be of more utility? And with this, we thought of that we could create packaging material from it, stationery products from it, fashion accessories, or construction material. And then comes the more important aspect to understand the long-term financial viability, that what would be the value addition in each of these industries. When we calculated the value addition, we can see that the fashion sector has the highest value addition of over 3,000%. And this is why we chose to go with delivering fashion products that are on trend, well-designed, and cater to the triple bottom line of people, planet, and profit. We need to make an impact, but we also need to scale it. A lot of sustainable innovations exist today, but they're working in silos. And for this, we need to have partners, we need to collaborate, and become part of platforms and networks where this kind of knowledge can be shared, adapted to local needs. Plastic to fabric was one such technology, but there exists a lot more technologies in the plastic space, like plastic to 3D printing, plastic to construction tiles, bioplastics from agricultural waste. And through collaborations, we have been able to get all of these technologies to India and build it in a way that it can be deployed in shippable containers and solve the problem of plastic pollution and unskilled labor. The sustainable innovations, the triple bottom line, is something that we urgently need today. We are looking at how capitalism has reached an extreme form. We're seeing how this approach to profit maximization is desecrating communities. It has laid a war on natural resources. And that's why sustainable innovation, green entrepreneurship, and conscious consumerism are a way of the future. We need a new generation of leaders to come up to solve these problems and ideate and innovate in a way that creates a new culture of sustainability, of inclusivity, of kindness and empathy to the planet and everybody living on it. So who's up for a challenge? Here's something for all of you to try today. Identify a problem that you feel connected to. And an emotional connection is necessary because when we create an innovation, there are a lot more failures than there are successes. And it's that emotional connection that really rides you through those low times. For me, there were some early interventions that really shaped the environmental and social values and feelings that I still carry with me today. One such experience was when I was around 12 years old, and my friends, family, and I had all volunteered to be a part of this Yamuna Cleanup Action Program. And we all collected plastic waste, so bottles and wrappers, out of the Yamuna River. This is the first time I realized what a real menace plastic waste was, and how badly we had been littering our city and our rivers. Another example is when I was volunteering as a teacher in an urban slum in Bahadurgarh. This is the first time that I witnessed poverty in its rawest form. I saw children running barefoot across landfills, malnutrition, disease, sexual abuse, violence. It was a lot. I was very overwhelmed by this level of poverty. But I was also overwhelmed by the positivity and hope that still existed within these communities. And there was a hope for a better future, for a better life for their children, for themselves to be uplifted from the state and live in a better community. And these values have really stuck with me today and drive me through in doing what we do. So coming back to the challenge, once you have the problem, then brainstorm on solutions. Write down everything that you can think of, big, small, practical, achievable, not achievable, crazy, out of this world, anything you think of. Then pick out your favorite top solutions based on what is the most achievable, what is the most cost-effective, what is the ideal solution. And then list down the resources that you need for each of these solutions. What is the capital you need, or the skills you need, or machine equipment that you need. And then align this with the resources that you have access to. Is there a school lab that you could use? Is there a friend who is skilled in something that you need? Ask for help, because you'll be surprised how many people say yes. And then implement at least one solution. It may work, it may not, but that's how innovations work. And sustainable innovations are just the same that way. Today, we're facing a crisis. Climate change, displacement, migration, all of these are real issues that we face today. But you and I sit here in privilege, and we have a responsibility to use this privilege and ideate, create, innovate solutions for sustainability, for inclusivity, without being bogged down by the expectations of traditional pressures and values. So just go for it, take this plunge. Thank you.